All right, so this next video is talking about insurance work, bid work, and negotiated work. And we're gonna just talk about a little bit of each one, and then you're gonna have to try to figure out which one that you wanna do for your business and which one makes the most sense for you. All right, so again, most people start off by doing insurance work. And when I say bid work, it's also retail work on the residential side. Most people refer to retail. Once you start doing commercial and you start doing government work, you refer to as bid work. So retail and bid work is the same thing. Then you have your insurance, which is totally different. And then you have negotiated work, which is a different thing. So you basically got insurance, bid or retail work, and negotiated work. Okay, so let's talk about insurance work first. I told you that I'd do a whole video talking about this, but I want to include it with these other two. Guys, that we could do, again, there's video series that focus on nothing but trying to help people make money in the insurance game. This is not one of those videos. This entire video series isn't going to be just based on that, because I want you guys to understand that, in my opinion, you can do insurance work, but if you're trying to build a business that you have a lot of free time and that you work less and make more, I don't feel like it's, unless in your first 5 years, it's not going to be just doing insurance work, because the insurance process is so long. And that's what I kind of want to spend this video talking about when it comes to insurance work. I'm going to walk you down a basic insurance job and then a complicated insurance job, and show you how complicated it can get, how long it could take. Okay, so we're just going to say in this scenario, because I feel like this is the best way to explain it, Miss Betty, she lives on 123 Apple Street, and then a big hailstorm comes through and it drops golf ball size hail on her roof, and she's got a just beat up roof. And let's say that you've done your digital marketing and you're on Google, and she calls you and she says, "Yes, sir, I've got hail all over my roof. I know a big hailstorm came down. Can you come out here and look at it?" And you're going to say, "Yes, ma'am." So you drive out to the house to do your inspection. So you go out there to do your inspection, you inspect the roof, and you find all this hail damage on there. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to say, "Miss Betty, you need to call your insurance company and file a claim." And she says, "Okay." So she calls the insurance company and she files a claim. And the next thing that's going to happen is the insurance adjuster is going to come out. 99% of the time, Miss Betty's going to say, "Well, can you come out here, because the insurance company's coming out, they're sending this adjuster, and I want somebody else out here. Can you come out?" And you say, "Yes." This is the best case scenario, remember. So you say, "Yes, ma'am, I'm going to come out there." So you go out there to meet with Miss Betty's adjuster. You go up there and he says, "Oh man, this roof is just blasted by hail. We're going to do a full roof replacement." She's going to get her first check next week, and you can go ahead and get started with the work if you're the contractor doing the work. You come down, you get the contract signed, because the insurance adjuster sends all the paperwork. You sit down with her and you say, "Okay, Miss Betty, when the first check comes in, you're going to have to sign that over to me. I want you to go ahead and pay your deductible. It's $1,500, and we're going to come out and do your roof as soon as I get that first check in your deductible." Boom. You come back out, you get her first check in deductible. You have the roof scheduled 2 or 3 days later. You go out and do the roof, and then as soon as you get on with the roof, you help her send in the invoice to the insurance company. Boom, she sends it in, and then a week or two later, you get the final check, the RCV check that comes in, and boom, the insurance job's done. That's best case scenario. Look how much time and effort went into doing that one residential roof. Holy crap. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, Miss Betty's roof gets hit by hail. It's blasted by hail. You know it's blasted by hail. She gets her insurance adjuster to come out there, and he goes, "This isn't enough hail to buy this roof." So you have to tell Miss Betty, "I'm telling you, there's a lot of hail up there. You're going to have to call another adjuster to come out." A month later, another adjuster comes out, and he says, "Well, I don't think it's enough hail either. I'm a CAT adjuster, and it's good hail, but it's not enough to buy the whole roof." And then you have to have her try to call a public adjuster out there, and then all of a sudden this claim takes 6 months just to get started. And over that next 6 months, she finds her roof ends up getting bought. But guess what? Her grandson's buddy started a roofing company, and she lets him do the job. And you spent all this time. You spent 6 months or 7 months total after the first adjuster, helping her, protest what the two adjusters said. You helped her find an independent contractor. Now they're buying her roof, and you finally think, man, I'm finally getting to do this job. And guess what? Miss Betty went and decided to use her grandson's dipshit buddy, who just started a roofing company, doesn't know anything about roofing, and she's giving him the job, and all of a sudden you did all this work for nothing. I know it sounds wild, but I'm telling you, it happens. It's happened to us. Anybody that's in the insurance business, that's just what it is, okay? So insurance work, in a nutshell, is great money. You can make a lot of money in insurance work. A lot of people do. But to me, you're going to also spend a lot of money just in the business, okay? My advice is, if you are going to do insurance work, I would stay away from working off the insurance paperwork, okay? Particularly if you're doing insurance, or if you're doing retail work, or I'm going to say this, if you're doing residential work, I would stay away from working off the paperwork, is what some people who call what they do and how they bill people, because they're working off the insurance. Basically, what the insurance company is going to pay out is what they're going to do the job for. I recommend writing your own estimate. So if your normal charge is $400 a square for this particular project, write her a bill for $400 and let her deal with her own insurance company. And you set your payment terms, half up front, half after the job's over. How she gets it from her insurance, or however she wants to pay, that's up to her. Let her deal with it. That's what I recommend doing when you do an insurance work, is just write it like it's retail. Let the policyholder deal with their own insurance company. Let them deal with all the stuff, and you just worry about doing the roof and writing an estimate. That's what I recommend doing. There have been more people lately moving to doing that versus just working off the paperwork than what there was 5 years ago. You can make more money sometimes working off the paperwork, but man, I'm telling you, it's a lot of extra work. And if you're wanting to build a company like I have, where you have time to do cool stuff and spend time with your family, or whatever you're wanting to do with your extra time, I would stay away from getting deep involved in the insurance process. It's great for some people, but I don't recommend it. Okay, next we're going to talk about bid work or retail work, okay? Bid work or retail work is exactly what you think it is. You're going to write a bid for a certain project, and you're going to win or lose. Typically, it's going to go to the low bidder, okay? This is the way a lot of federal government projects work, state government projects work, a lot of local, like if you're trying to do city work for the municipality or for the county, a lot of times this is the type of work you're going to do. So your price is going to be the number one thing. Same thing with retail work. If you're a roofing company and you're doing retail work, price isn't always going to be the end of the deal. Same with government work. The government has a lot of things called lowest acceptable price, or the best value for the government. Just like with doing retail work for residential or commercial, they're not always going to go with the lowest bidder, but price does matter. And a lot of times you do have to spend a lot of time putting these bids together, and you may not win. So you do spend time, whether you're doing insurance work and trying to walk somebody through the entire claim, or just writing out the bid, you're still having to spend time doing those things. And you can do bids through Xactimate, you can do bids the way I told you to do it. The point is that bid work and retail work, to me, it's a faster way of getting a bid out. You don't have to spend as much time as you do on the insurance process. And if you're wanting to start doing larger projects, this is kind of the way that you're going to start working to, okay? Bid work and retail work is kind of the big boys business. If outside of just doing the insurance work, you can just be a storm chaser and do that. There's a lot of companies that do it. This video series isn't necessarily telling you to do that, because I do think there's a lot of other opportunities out there for bid work and retail. And kind of the mecca, in my opinion, for any company to get into is negotiated work. Negotiated work is where you probably have done a lot of bid work, maybe you did some insurance work in the past with one particular client, whether it be residential, whether it be commercial, whether it be some government, because a lot of government can't really do negotiated because they have to bid everything out. But negotiated work is where you have a relationship with a company or an individual, and they just feed you jobs and you just bid on them, okay? And they're going to say, well, that job, we need this one a little bit tighter tighter. We need this one a little bit, you can bid, a little bit more on this one. I know this one's complicated. I'm catching you at a bad time. Negotiated work is where you and another party are negotiating the price on a job, but they're only planning on really hiring you. They don't have any other roofers, that they're going to use. Now, you can get these from property management companies. You can build relationships with large corporations, people that have multiple properties. You can do this with not necessarily insurance agents, but you can be a preferred contract with insurance agents and real estate agents, which I'll talk about in another video. But and we have also that on our YouTube channel, by the way. But negotiated work is simply where you're the only contractor that's in the game. Now, the only question begs, are you going to do it for what they want you to or not? And most of the time when you get to negotiated work phase and you have a steady client and stuff like that, they know what your prices are going to be. They know what you cost. What they really care about, are you going to get the job done? Yes or no? And if you built a relationship with them, they know you're going to. That's why I call it kind of the mecca of the three, is because once you can get to negotiated work, they already know what your prices are going to be. They already know what your profit margins are. You know them. You know you're going to get paid yes or no after every job. So getting on the negotiated work side, it's great. Now, doing insurance work, man, you can fight with some homeowners and some insurance companies, and you can fight with corporations on insurance work, and sometimes you can never get paid for all this hard work you do. Bid work, you can do the same thing, particularly if it's not funded by the government. And negotiated work, by that time, you're probably always going to get paid because, well, you have a relationship with this person. They're probably not going to screw you because you're going to continue to do work for them, and they don't want to lose that. Same thing applies to government work. If you do your job, the government's always going to pay you for it. So anyway, that's kind of the three ways of being able to make money outside of just breaking it down by commercial, residential, and government work, is deciding whether you want to do strictly insurance work, if you want to do insurance work and bid work. But the ultimate goal is to get to negotiated work. And if you want to start doing bigger jobs, it's negotiated work and doing bid work.